Good morning, goddammit. Day 51 of piss and vinegar. Shoulders and biceps. Today was good. Starting off with overhead press, barbell overhead press, and this lift is going up, as all the lifts are really right now, but this one went up pretty tremendously today. Fuck, man, this angle is not charming. It makes me look like I'm balding and fat. Well, it's changed now, but when I go back into the seat, it's not a it's not a fucking charming look. That looks bad. Anyway, this this lift has gone up quite a bit. I think I got 10 reps with 2 kilos heavier today. So pretty good, but funnily enough, still weaker than my dumbbell overhead press. My dumbbell overhead press is 70 kilos, this is 62 kilos. So I don't know what's going on here, but anyway, still going up, so that's fine with me. I think maybe the range of motion is a bit longer with the barbell, whereas the dumbbells, obviously, you can't go all the way down because the dumbbells gets in the way. So maybe that's why my dumbbell overhead press is better than my barbell overhead press. Anyway, whatever. My dumbbell presses are stronger than my barbell presses right now. It's no biggie. It is a bit weird, but it's fine. I set this up so I could do 2 drop sets. So I got 2 5-kilo plates on top of it. That way I can do drop sets quickly. I was considering doing 4 5-kilo plates, but it's just a lot of effort. I don't think I really need that many drop sets. So yeah, I did 2 drop sets here, but I'm considering doing some extra drop sets on certain movements where I do like really light drop sets where I get like really high reps to really burn the muscle out. See if that has any sarcoplasmic hypertrophy benefits. And just to generally get a big pump and fucking torture myself a little bit more. So today I didn't do that, but what I would have done if I was to try and do that is I would do this set here with 40 kilos, the drop set, and then I would drop that down to 20. And 20 kilos would be like, 15, 20 reps, which I'd normally get like 40, 50, 60, however many reps, but in a drop set, you don't get that many. But it'd still be very high reps, so maybe next time or on maybe next chest day or something, I'll try doing some really high rep drop sets, see how that feels, see if I notice anything. And these. Oh, sorry, I just ate a bunch of pasta and I'm getting indigestion. These dumb barbell overhead presses feel fine. They feel really good. I lost my train of thought here. Anyway, moving on to side lateral raises. Today I'm not gonna have any topics. Yesterday I had a topic for the video. It was acupuncture. Today I didn't really think ahead or plan anything out, so no topic today. I'm just gonna narrate my training. But yeah, in the future you might hear some stories or commentary on life or just general topics of sorts. Always feel free to request any of those. Side lateral raises a little heavier today. I think this is 15 or 16 a side, so pretty heavy, feels good. Trying to keep it as strict as possible. Even the slightest amount of body English on these can really change how easy or how hard it is. So I keep them as strict as I can, and then I start doing some cheat reps beyond failure. But if you're not doing your side laterals strict, you're missing out. I think that it's better to take it heavy, but heavy strict. Don't do them light. Do 8 to 12 reps, but don't cheat until after you failed strictly. And that goes for just about every exercise for the most part, but especially on the side laterals. Really keep them strict. Let your side laterals do the work, not the traps. And don't let the rotator cuffs take over. So yeah, this is an example actually of a high rep drop set. Not yet. The next drop set, I go down to like 5 kilos, which is a bit too light. Or, well, not too light, but is light. And then I rep out like 10, 15, 20 reps versus the typical drop set where I get like 4 or 5 reps. So I'm just doing that now because I feel like maybe, with high intensity, you're always second guessing, am I doing enough volume? Because we're all brainwashed by volume workouts even to this day. There is one guy, can't remember his name. Oh man, something hit. It's some like Croatian or Serbian or one of those kind of like Mediterranean Slavic dudes. He's got like 11,000 subscribers. He's doing Mike Mentz's consolidation program, which is really low in volume. It's like dips and then pull-ups and squats and chin-ups and like I don't even think there's even any bicep curls, side laterals or anything. It's just the most bare bones fucking thing, and you do it like every 10 days. It's like an unbelievably low amount of volume. No drop sets, no rest pauses, just straight sets to failure. To memory. I mean, he might be adding a little bit more, but nowhere as much volume or added time and attention as my high intensity days. So much respect to that guy, because that takes a lot of balls, because I'm always like paranoid at the back of my head. Oh, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? I'm doing enough. Probably doing too much, realistically. And that guy's willing to really potentially sacrifice his gains, which very likely he won't. He'll very likely get better gains by doing such a low volume experiment. So I'd be really curious to see what he gets out of it. And if he gets good gains from it, I might start doing really, really low volume for one body part, like maybe, I don't know, arms or something, or one of my strong body parts, like arms and delts, my genetically strong parts, or maybe back or something. And I might start doing like, 2 exercises per body part rather than like 5, and see how that goes, if his experiment goes well, because, I don't know, it's hard to tell, especially for naturals too. There is a difference between natural and roided up training. Not as much as people think it is, and there's a lot of misconceptions that, when you're on roids, you can train harder, you can train more. Not really. I mean, the human body, the central nervous system is essentially the same whether you're on gear or not. Obviously, the central nervous system is a bit more active when you're on gear, which, isn't necessarily going to mean it's going to heal better, unless you're like microdosing fucking LSD or something really esoteric to heal your central nervous system faster. So at the end of the day, if you hit the right intensity threshold, if you're on gear or if you're not on gear, it doesn't really matter. If anything, as a natural, you could probably train more with high intensity, because your ligaments and tendons can take the brunt. Whereas, you have a Dorian Yates who tore his triceps and biceps because he would train way too hard while in a deficit, but also the ligaments and tendons can't keep up to the increased rate of muscular output. So, there's not a huge difference between roided up training and natural training when it comes to high intensity. Now, when it comes to maybe like a powerlifting volume type program, maybe, but as far as high intensity, no, it's virtually exactly the same. Whatever works for a natty is going to work for a roided freak, for the most part, except for the fact that the natty can probably push harder. Now I'm doing strict curls. These went up a little bit today. I think I increased by 2 reps from previous times, so that was really good. The strength's going way up from this maintenance calories. So is the belly fat. I probably overdid this maintenance a little bit too much. I need to back off. Next week I'm going to really stop eating pasta for one. I'm probably realistically eating at a bulk calorie right now. So next week and the week after that, I'll go to maintenance for a little bit longer. Maybe maintain 80 just for about a week. And then I'll start the bulk, start pushing the gas with the bulk, start getting into a 400 or 500 calorie surplus. I don't need much of a surplus because I build muscle really easily, and I'm very ectomorphic in my metabolism, incredibly slow metabolism. So I don't need many calories in order to bulk. Some skinny ectomorphs are blessed in the sense that they can eat like 3,000 calories more than their fucking maintenance and not gain much fat, just mostly muscle. That is not the case for me. But, we all want what we don't have. And then I move on to incline curls. These are fucking brutal. 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. Try these out. If you're having lagging biceps, I fucking promise you your biceps will grow from this shit. Even in a fucking cut, man. Like this shit, I don't know how to explain it. It's agonizing. And I had a request recently in the comments to do these videos, do a video in that Sam Sulek or Sulek way, the guy that does the voiceovers while he's training, and I'll consider doing it once, but there's going to be a lot of screaming, because what you don't hear with this voiceover is me screaming when I do these sets. Like these sets are very painful, and this set I am fucking screaming. So you'll get to hear that maybe next week when I decide to do that. And just for clarity, I'm not doing this series isn't actually based off that guy Sam Sulek or Sulek. It's from Ivan Duric, Australian Croatian fella. Squat every day. You might have heard him before. I based this training style, not training style, but this series off that guy. And I partially want to get into what he does, which is kind of life talks and advice and stuff like that over the voiceovers, because obviously I can only keep narrating the weights for so long before it just becomes very repetitive, which is why I never really understood why people watch that Sam Sulek guy, because all he does is just narrate what he's doing in the gym. And honestly, I mean, his training is not that great. He has exceptional genetics and exceptional steroids. And obviously, if you train with enough intensity, with volume, and with the right gear and genetics, you'll get big. You can get big on volume, don't get me wrong, but he could get better gains, and he could save a lot of time if he did high intensity. But yeah, I never really understood why people watch him, because it's like, well, what's the point? He's just narrating the same thing over and over, like for 300 videos. Like the first 50, sure, but after that, you're kind of spent. Unless you're doing new programming every single time. I don't know. With this movement, not being a hater here, by the way, all but respect. Dude's killing it. With these ones, I'm doing the hammer curls. I forgot today to only do the left arm as the experiment. But basically, with these, if you haven't been tuning in, I lift a weight too heavy for me to do, and then I artificially do 1 rep maxes for like 10 reps. So I only assist myself just enough to basically 1 rep max, but then I just keep going. And I keep going until the negative portion, which is far stronger than your positive, is totally taxed. So, you know, this rep here, you can see that I can hold the negative for quite some time, and then I go again, and I keep going until I can no longer control the negative. It just falls out of my arm, in which case I know it's time to stop. So these are brutal, and this really makes me scream like a little bitch. Like, this shit's agonizing. If you haven't tried these, give these a go too. Yeah, sorry, what was I? So yeah, I based this series off squat every day because, unlike the Sam Sulek guy, he's the OG because he started this. Really, I mean, well, the OG was Rich Piana, rest in peace, with Bigger by the Day, but I like his content because, yeah, he understands if he just squats in front of the camera every fucking day, it's going to be pretty boring. Now, I'm practicing a based pose. I don't know how the fuck to do this, and a few times I was worried that I was looking a bit like I was doing a Austrian painter man salute. I wasn't sure, so hopefully this doesn't get me cancelled. But, you know, Arnold and Mike Menser and Ziz and all kinds of people did this, Frank Zane, so I think I'll be okay, so long as it doesn't go on some communist message board. But yeah, that was me trying to attempt that pose. I don't know how to do it yet. I need to go watch some people do it, and then that was just totally like from memory. And then I'm finishing off with my nucleus overload. You can see down the side of my spinal erectors, I got some cupping down 2 days ago, or yesterday I think it was. Yeah, yesterday I got some cupping down, so that's the sort of twin towers you're seeing going down my spinal erectors, and beside my spine is oh fuck, sorry about that, it's hay fever season in Australia. That is from that. But yeah, I was doing traps because I'm doing traps and pronation on my right arm every day to increase my nucleus overload experiment. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I don't feel like explaining it again. But then I realized tomorrow I'm training traps anyway, so I got to 50 reps. Normally I do 100, but I got to 50 reps and stops because I was like, oh, I'm training traps tomorrow anyway, so I should probably give it a break. So before I do trap days or accessory days where I do my traps, I'm not going to do the nucleus overload the day before because I need a little bit of recovery, even though it's very light and kind of more just fluff and pump work. I don't want to kind of falsely lower my strength on the day of. So yeah, then I moved on to my rotator cuff work. I always do these on shoulder day. If you're not doing rotator cuff work, do it and add it to a day where it will be done. So I do mine at the end of the shoulder day. For you guys, you know, if you're still doing volume or whatever, good luck, because it's hard to do these tiny little accessory movements at the end of your volume workouts because you'll be exhausted and won't be ready to do any of that. But if you if you're a big brain, you're doing high intensity, and your workouts only last 20, 30, 40 minutes, start adding these in at the end, and reap the benefits. Strengthen up your rotator cuffs, push your rear delts and side delts out artificially through the muscles underneath, and potentially never get injured again on bench presses or shoulder presses. So these are really good, and I really needed to start doing these because I do a lot of internal rotation work, or I do a bit of internal rotation work for arm wrestling. I do side pressure, which is the exact opposite of this movement, and it's not necessarily very good for your shoulders. So between that and already having very loose shoulder girdle and loose shoulders, I decided that I'd start doing these just to try and overcompensate. And I take these to failure like any other exercise. And then I finish off with some pronation. I want to try 2 different variations: the PVC pipe pronation daily, and then I also want to do this sort of thumb pronation. Problem is, I felt this way too much on the bicep because I'd just done bicep curls. So I might have to find a different way of doing these so that my bicep doesn't get involved, because I'm trying to train the pronator, not the biceps here. But I'm only doing my right arm, not my left. And then that's it for today, basically. Just doing this. This wasn't that great because it was too heavy. The idea of nucleus overload training is that you go light, 15 to 25, 30 reps. So this was too heavy. I was only getting 10 reps or something. That's too heavy. Too much tax on the central nervous system. So next time it'll have to be lighter than that. Anyway, that's done. See you guys tomorrow for more piss and vinegar. Bye bye.